Good day, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of quarter 2. It's been a week since we had our previous lesson for week number 5, which was entitled Claims of Fact, Policy, and Value. For our review, we all know that when we say claim, it refers to a clear assertion of a person's ideas, opinions, or propositions. There are 3 classifications of claims. They are the claims of fact, claims of policy, and claims of value. For this week's lesson, we are about to discuss exposition. We are all exposed to different kinds of text almost every minute. The most common of it is the update we see in our social media, like Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram. This can also be found on a news story we encounter in daily broadsheets, or even on an article we browse on lifestyle magazines. We are often compelled to read and make sense of various texts we see. One of the key features that draws the boundaries between and among these written materials is the purpose of the author. A writer always has reasons and conventions for choosing to write about a certain topic or issue, such as providing information, telling a story, or sharing an opinion. In this lesson, it focuses on exploring and understanding the key structural elements and language features of an expository text. And as we have this journey, we may be able to engage in tasks that will ask us to write an exposition or discussion on a familiar issue. In writing, it is important to have a clear sense of purpose. Just like what I have mentioned, it must be clear for a writer whether he writes to give information, to entertain, or to share an opinion. This purpose or reason for writing about a particular topic usually serves as the basis of the structural elements, patterns of idea development, and language features that a writer employs in writing. In the previous lesson, you were introduced to the concepts of argumentative writing, where the author explains and justifies his or her stand on a given proposition by presenting evidences to support his or her claim. Basically, in an argumentative text or writing, the writer aims to persuade the reader or the listener to believe on what he is believing in. An expository text presents or provides information about a particular topic or issue. It is also known as an informational writing. As we can see, informational comes from the root word information. So, for a wise guess, an expository writing or informational writing, its aim is to give information. So, on this type of writing, the writer provides facts on a given topic in a way that is educational and purposeful. Expository writing provides facts, descriptions, reasons, explanations, and steps of a process. Unlike narrative writing, an expository text does not tell a story and does not make use of emotion in presenting facts. Basically, expository text focuses on the information, it focuses on the given evidences. Expository text is fact-based and seeks to educate the reader by presenting facts based on reliable sources. Expository texts are generally clear, concise, and organized in terms of idea development. Since we are giving information, how can we give a valid information if it is not clear, if it is not concise, and if it is disorganized? So basically, an expository text requires a clear, concise, and organized in terms of idea development. Common examples of expository text are the textbooks, the news articles, the instructional manuals or materials, recipes, and self-help books, just like what we have on our SLMs or self-learning modules, the one you are using on the 8 learning areas. So texts had been classified in terms of purpose, the same way the writer writes for a purpose. Let us say, for instance, a writer of an expository writing seeks to inform. Basically, an expository text gives information. A narrative text aims to entertain. And lastly, an argumentative text's goal, just like what I have mentioned earlier, its goal is to persuade the readers. There are 4 key structural elements in an exposition. The first one is a clear and concise thesis statement. When we say thesis statement, that is the topic sentence basically found, if not, it is usually found at the beginning sentence of the primary paragraph. But there are times that it is written on the last paragraph. So on this key element in an exposition, it is usually presented in the initial paragraph, on the first paragraph, just like what I have mentioned. The thesis statement introduces the main topic or idea and provides the overall direction of the text. So our thesis statement guides the readers or the listeners on where the write-ups or the text will go. The second one is clear transitions. After this video, I'm going to show you another video giving us different examples of transitions to use in writing exposition. So the use of clear and proper transitions will glue the introduction, the body, and the conclusion together. Without these clear transitions or these transitional signals, your introduction, the body, and even the conclusion of your text might be away from one another, and you might get different ideas, or your thesis statement might be ruined. Without effective use of transitions, the exposition may seem like disjointed collection of ideas. So these transitional signals put the ideas together. A body that contains evidences and support. While most people think of an expository text like an essay as something that can be written even without due research and preparations, the use of supporting evidences like examples and explanations forms a huge part of fact-based expository text. So, just like any other text or essays that we are writing, the body, that is how the body of our text is very important. Just like what we have on the introduction, basically it aims to hook the interest of the readers or the listeners. And on the conclusion, on the other hand, aims to tighten up the ideas we presented on our text. the same thing or the same importance that we have on the body, that it contains the evidences. So our ideas or the development of the ideas must be presented very well on the body of our text. Lastly is the effective conclusion. It is an essential to remember that a conclusion is not only meant to summarize the ideas presented from the introduction to the body, and I don't think there is a need for you to summarize the ideas presented from the introduction to the body, because it is just an essay, it is just an excerpt wherein there's no need for you to sum it up. All you have to do is to tighten up the ideas you presented. Instead, a conclusion should tie the ideas all together. So that is what I am talking about, while highlighting the true essence of the main idea in the text. So while most expository essays typically follow the introduction, body, conclusion format, other forms and examples of exposition can take other shapes and patterns depending on how the writer intends to present his or her ideas. But as beginners in writing, we have to follow the introduction, the body, and conclusion format. But as time goes on, or as we practiced ourselves on writing, we may be able to present our ideas into different formats. But as for now, we have to deal with the introduction, body, conclusion format. So for now, we have the structures or patterns of idea development. The first one is the cause and effect. Literally speaking, we have to deal with the cause and the effect. In this structure or pattern of idea development, the writer presents the information by explaining how or why a certain event happened, and that deals with the cause. However, the writer also has to explain what resulted from that particular cause, and that is the effect. So, in cause and effect, explain how or why a certain event happened. That is for the cause. And what resulted from that cause, that is the effect. Number 2 is the comparison and contrast. Comparison, we have to deal with the similarities. Contrast, differences. In this structure of developing ideas, the writer presents the information by providing the details as to how things, concepts, or ideas are alike or different. Number 3 structure on idea development is what we call description. So come from the root word, it deals on how we describe things. In this structure, the topic is presented by providing descriptions about its attributes, features, and examples. Number 4, problem and solution. So problem is the conflict, solution are the different ways on how to solve the problem or the conflict. In this structure of idea development, the writer may present a problem and provide one or more solutions to the said problem. And lastly, we have here the sequence. In this structure, information may be presented in a way that follows numerical or chronological sequence, either explicitly or implicitly. So with all these things that we discussed today, with idea development, with the key structures or elements in writing expository text, transition signals or transitional devices are very important. So I have prepared a separate video discussing these signals. And after watching these two videos, make sure that you may be able to read the introduction, answer the given activity, accomplish the learning task 1 to 5, accomplish a simulation. Don't forget to answer quiz number 6 on your Google form. And for your performance task, there is an excerpt on your module on page 27. All you have to do is to read it carefully, comprehensively, and then try to explain and sum up the ideas presented on that excerpt using a graphic organizer. But in dealing with this explanation using the graphic organizer, you have to consider and you have to use you have to consider the different structures on idea development, and they are again the cause and effect, comparison and contrast, description, problem and solution, and sequence. So for now, you are about to watch the second video. I think that's all for today. Happy learning!